Powerful topic because many parents and society has forced people to enter certain markets or enter into certain agreements with universities.
And I think they can really take our kids and pull out the skills from them.
Yes.
Because if from primary school you can see a child is good at computers, good at arts, good at, you develop that skill. People are getting
Artists
paid.
are getting paid more money.
Excuse me?
than some
They're
accountants.
making 200,000 rand a month.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
wow, who's these people that's making 200,000?
no, what's your top 5 things you have to travel with?
Take my golf clubs.
Right.
Right.
Most of the time you do. You just take like 2 clubs with you.
Two
Sneak
clubs.
it
I
in
do
there.
sneak 2 clubs.
Right.
There's something we can't mention that we have to travel.
Yeah. Welcome, guys, and
Take
we
a
are
bite
back.
with the BigBites.
Yes, we are back, and we had a good week. So we're bringing you some good, unpacking, mind-boggling content today.
Thank you for all the subscriptions, the comments, the views. We appreciate you
And
guys.
don't
support.
stop sharing. Don't stop sharing. Don't stop sharing. Help us grow our podcast. Tell us what you guys want to hear so that we can keep you guys entertained. Now, our topic today is something very encouraging that we'd like to unpack, and we're going to ask Mr. Big Bite on it. Street smart versus education.
Powerful topic because many parents and society has forced people to enter certain markets or enter into certain agreements with universities, tertiary educations, or schools.
Yeah.
And there's different tiers. I mean, education being one whole aspect and street smart being one aspect. If you and I can just understand, let's just look at education. Look at the schooling system.
Yes.
What's your take on the schooling system?
I think that the schooling system can be better.
Yes.
I feel like we are sitting with a very outdated curriculum, and we can really upskill our kids into not this teaches you survival. What they're learning now is the basic survival mode, and I think they can really take our kids and pull out the skills from them.
Yes.
Because if from primary school you can see a child is good at computers, good at arts, good at, you develop that skill. And I feel like our education system does not provide that at the moment to actually identify, hey, we are sitting here with the future scientists, let's develop it quickly and fast track it, rather than sitting with a load of subjects that just inundate the child's mind and not help them to develop the actual skill. Because if you are a bright student, yes, you're getting the 7s, you're getting the, but how does one take that knowledge, that intelligence, that passion that the child has, and actually turn it and develop it into something? Or are they just waiting for the parent to tell them when they reach high school, oh, be an accountant, be a doctor?
Yeah, and it's kind of a forced
You
situation.
get what I'm saying?
And I find, Mish, you are right, because psychology plays an important role in a
Correct.
child's development, especially in school, because the teachers and the school spends a lot of time with the child.
Yes.
So at that stage, they should provide a new section on the report that gives an output of the child's psychology and give
100%.
you a skill set and say, you know what, he wasn't only good at maths, but his interpretation level was well, or his
Exactly.
problem solving skills were well,
Execution.
or the guy can actually walk faster than more people,
Yeah.
or your child can write with left hand and right hand, or your child can see color
100%.
better than other. I mean, there should be like a more in-depth report about.
I agree, because times are changing, technology is up there, and we are still sitting with a 40,
So-
probably a what,
A high
60-year-old
academic
academic.
system. I mean, and we know that we using what, caps, and we still using blue book, and we can't even get spelling right on the blue book. You know,
There's
and then,
a lot of errors in that blue book.
I know motor skills are important, counting is important, writing is important, breathing is important.
Look,
sleeping
even
is
the
important.
social skills are important,
We're not
but
against
I can
that.
tell you something from a parent's point of view. The first 2 years I did spend doing that blue book. It was very frustrating. It was, how can you give a child a book to come home and complete, whereas they can't even read?
No,
The parent is
Look.
doing the work.
horrible. That must change.
It
Then you
needs
get
to
different
change.
schools.
Yes.
You get different preschools, you get different primary schools, you get different high schools.
And I mean, the private schools are very expensive.
Really, the cost of a private school is exorbitant, and then they say no, there's costs attributed to that, and one can't afford it. Blah 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 blah
It's
blah.
like paying off a house.
Worse than that, because if you have 2 kids,
It's paying off 3 houses.
now do you afford that? What do you do now? The schools mitigate it by putting extramural activities. Your child can go play ice hockey, some can ski, some can do some ridiculous sports. I mean, they attribute a lot of sports to it, and then the science and the computers and the technology. I can see those private
Behind a
schools.
private school,
Yeah, they
yes,
know
absolutely.
they've backed up all these, I call them like subsidiary play things that can enhance your kid. Those are critical and important things that I think are valuable. Bless you.
Thank you.
Now, has that helped? Because I still find kids that are still not developing. Now, let's move out of the kids. Right? Let's say the education system is still there. It's still here. Let's move into forced education. Let's talk about the fact that there's a lack of career guidance and there's more forced
Yeah,
guidance.
because if I can expound on what you're saying, careers are changing.
Correct.
From 20 to 50 years ago, we now have a social media manager. We
Yes.
now have a creative executive writer. That didn't exist 50 years ago. And that seemed like something that probably if you speak to your parents, they will not think that that's a good paying job.
Correct.
However, people are getting
Artists
paid.
are getting paid more money.
Excuse
than
me?
some
They're
accountants.
making 200,000 Rand a month. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? And
Wow, who's these people that's making 200,000?
no, okay. Let's talk about the creative executor for Kim Kardashian's Skims brand.
Oh, yeah, you jumped there right at the top. I was just talking about a real job.
Yeah.
Okay, a
But I'm
good
just
graphic.
talking.
I don't like a good designer, good wordsmith, and a good videographer nowadays get paid well. These
100%.
are people that are critical.
But the other thing I wanted to say to you into the forced thing, I think children are scared to tell their parents what they really want to do, and I think parents,
Indian children,
yeah, yeah.
or
yeah.
just children in general.
I think it's children in general, and I think that parent, well, yeah, you're right. It is the Indians.
No, it's a cultural
It's a
problem.
cultural problem that we don't see anything creative as something achieved. Yeah, so you only have achieved something if you have a big status behind you or a big
Degree.
signature.
Yeah.
Like if you are a doctor or a lawyer, oh, you made it.
Okay, wait.
Which is great. You have.
Professionals, there's a big difference between professionals and just general education.
Okay. Yes.
So I agree that, but parents should not force their children into.
But what if I want to become a nurse? Isn't that okay? I don't want to
perfectly
be a
fine.
doctor.
It's perfectly fine. Becoming wait, you talking to a parent like me who
Yeah, yeah,
totally
yeah.
allows. I'm in full allowance.
To allow your kids to
No,
be
you must
whatever
allow
they
them whatever
want.
they want. If you want to be a vet, upside down vet, you know what? Be the best at it. I will support you. The one thing is, I will provide a thing called career guidance.
Correct.
I will give you jobs. I will tell you there are certain jobs, and I'll advise the educational system to tailor what that child wants.
Right.
I'll give them. The problem I have is that if we force people to do things into doing things thinking that they need a title, such as a degree.
Because a degree comes with stability. And every parent wants their child to have stability, that no matter where you go in life, you'll be able to have some sort of a job.
Good head on your shoulders gives you stability, not a degree.
Okay. That's an amazing way of saying it, and I hope that the parents out
A
there are listening.
respected, responsible, mature, non-hookah smoking alcoholic child who's violent on Tuesdays and studying on Wednesdays, and who's busy making kids, young girls pregnant, or the guys doing nonsense, then they're pretending to study on the Friday, then you have to get forced marriages because you did nonsense. Is that a good child? Oh no,
Okay.
my child can do all these rotten things, but he's got a degree. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I downloaded this because it hit home for me, and I was going to post it later, but this is really what hits for me. It says, raise your children to be impressed by kindness, loyalty, and humility, not just wealth, possessions, and power.
Perfect and well said.
And with that leading up to, if your kid is in a private school or if they are in a school, how do they become street smart? Because I think when a child gets everything handed to them, they're not street smart. I don't know if this generation is street smart. Can they see a scam a mile away?
Can they be risk? Is the risk awareness very high? Is the ability to perceive, to forecast, Is it there? Is the ability to negotiate?
Can you
and
be sharp if you're walking in a street? I would say, can you show me the time? And then that person says, take out your phone. Like, can you be street smart to say, oh, I'm gonna get jacked here now?
But now those are experienced kids. So therefore, if you were to ask me a question,
Yeah.
uh, what do I think a parent should do? I do think a gap year is more important than studying.
Okay.
I
Okay.
think taking the gap year by not studying, I do believe that you should study. So I'm pro education.
Right.
I do believe that you need
No,
to
you
be
do need the education.
but you need to be a professional in
Yes.
that industry. Now that's something I will allude to later. However, I do believe that you need a gap year, and I'll tell you why. A gap year or an ability to work, to get a job, or to submit teaches you 10 to 15 skills that you will never learn at tertiary. Your child will always lack those skills that tertiary will never be able to give you.
Yes.
Therefore, I believe that such things as time management, ability to handle pressure, conflict resolution, multitasking, pitching, sales, communication, respect,
skills.
responsibility, those type of
Those
things that
things
you,
come with being in the real world.
Those make
They are
C-
just
no.
certain things that no school will ever
those make
teach you.
CEOs, Misha.
Yes.
CEOs and executives of businesses, or when you want to climb the food chain, but all you're doing is focusing on studying every day.
Then
That's
you'll
all.
always be that.
No, you'll always work, and you'll always end up in that bracket, in that salary bracket, or you'll always build yourself up to that
Correct.
employment. But do you know you can get some highly skilled, degreed people
Yeah.
that actually work their way up in a company?
Slowly,
No,
yes.
in a company.
Yes.
You know why? Because those are street smart, educated people.
I agree with you because I've seen some people who I've worked with who started out as a clerk, had no education, just a matric, started skilling themselves just with maybe diplomas from, here, the small short courses. Next thing, the person's graduating with a degree. They now the general manager, moving to that. I agree with you that the gap year is
So
important.
how do you get street smart before we speak about professionalism?
Sure. I don't know how you get street smart. I just believe you have to be put in environments and you have to be sharp. You have to pick up stuff. You have to be cognizant of your environment. You have to be able to, pick up the signs, the habits, I don't know. What do you think?
So street smart comes because of experience,
Okay.
life experiences. It's the ability to understand.
Put yourself into trouble.
Yeah, to be street smart comes out of being in and coming out of trouble. Not only in coming out of trouble, I wouldn't say that necessarily, but street smart is life experiences.
Yeah.
If you shelter a person for too long, and if you don't allow them the opportunity to experience it themselves, how will they learn it? If you carry on driving your kid to school, if you carry on dishing out food for your children, if you continuously push your children and shelter them, just study, just study, just study, don't worry,
Yeah,
don't worry.
they don't
If you
get
can't
sharp
teach them to
enough.
clean a toilet, if you can't teach if a 30-year-old person is still living with their parents, or 35-year-old, or a 40-year-old is living with your parents, what are you teaching that person? I'm not saying you should go get married, and you're far from street smart, because you don't have the
You can't
ability.
survive on your own.
You can't wash your brief.
So
I
I think that this topic is just the best thing that pulls out entrepreneurs, it pulls out CEOs, it pulls out the next Elon Musk's because
Let's speak about Elon Musk.
yeah,
Elon Musk created a school for his kids.
okay,
He put his kids through a special school. He's not the greatest chap. He's got a lot of bad things that he does, and he does a lot of good things.
yes,
Let's just talk about the good things.
okay,
I just like the school that he created. The school is all about kids that can go there and they only develop what your kid is really interested in.
oh,
And he took his children out of the school and he put them in his own school, and his friends' kids joined the school.
Right.
And there's only about 12 students,
Sure.
or 15 students. And those students, if they like robotics,
then they just work on
they work
robotics.
and they teach them the
But
general things.
isn't that something we dreamed about?
have been-
Waking up to just do something you're so
I
passionate
would have been
at.
a grade 15 musician. Doesn't exist, but I would have been able to play with my teeth. I would have been able to play the keyboard with my teeth if only they saw that this guy had a talent and he was
Yeah,
a musician, and
it's true.
we should invest in his musical skill and
But
ability.
you know, this is what gets me right. Is everything has changed so much, but why haven't our mindsets changed towards it? Because if your son is really good at soccer, if he is really good at a sport, why break up that hope that
Right.
the sport is just a hobby? You're not going to be the next David Beckham.
I'm gonna
Whereas
help
you
you.
can very well be the next David Beckham.
But
Yeah.
here's the mistake. I call them bolt-ons.
Okay.
You have to. So if you want to be a good soccer player,
Yeah.
you got to be good at project management.
Okay.
You got to be good at calculation. You got to be good. I'm not only talking about your physical attributes.
Yes.
I'm talking about your
Your
mental
thinking.
skills, your ability to problem solve, your ability to see, to forecast,
Right.
your risk assessment. So when I watched driving the Formula One, I watched Drive to Survive.
Okay.
Lewis Hamilton, and if you watch him, and if you look at all of the racing drivers, they do a thing where they have to block the lights. And they
Yes.
sit, and then the light will come on, and then they have to touch here, then touch here, then touch here. So what it does, it teaches you your sixth sense.
Yeah.
So when they see something in the
senses, a
rearview
motor
mirror,
skill.
or they see something, their reactive skills are faster.
Yes.
They also teach them certain mental games, and they play certain games with them, so that when they hear things on the road, or when the other people speak to them, or when they dealt with conflict and confrontation, Lewis Hamilton can calculate, oh, you know what? I know how to resolve this problem.
Yeah.
His aptitude.
100%.
So it's called bolt-on. So your child can be the best artist.
But we got to bolt on those
But
other
teach your
things
child
as
how
well.
to become
Better.
good at selling his art,
Correct.
good at marketing his
But
art.
that's
good-
what I'm saying. I'm saying that why haven't we evolved it yet to take what your child is good at in a school already
Yes.
and say, listen, I see you good at art. Let me teach you how to market yourself. Let me teach you how to sell this. Let me teach you about business, how it will work, tax, this, that. I want to know, have you used any of your trigonometry now?
No, nonsense. We used majority of about 50 to 60% of
Of
our,
what we learn at
yeah,
school.
We don't.
And I
the rest
wish,
is self, is tertiary.
I really wish we had the internet back then.
Correct.
Because then we would have had more courage to actually upskill ourselves, because kids are upskilling themselves through YouTube now.
Well, totally. There is a big need for education such as PhDs, professionals.
Yeah, we can't do without
Master's
doctors, our
business.
lawyers, we need them.
No,
We need them.
they are a professional is a mandatory. I am in favor
Of professional.
Please, if you want to be a doctor,
But
go
can
be a
we find
doctor.
our doctors from
South-
early like real doctors?
find real doctors?
Real doctors from an early age. Like if you can see this child's gonna be a doctor in standard 8 or well grade 10, right? Why not start prepping this child up? Why not start taking him to the hospitals?
It's a lack of career guidance.
and
Because
experience.
career guidance and life experiences help. And me and you expanding a lot on kids. We're at the kid level, right? And I think if we had to say, and I had to ask you to sum up from your version and I sum up. Street smart versus education. What's your take or
You
mine?
go first.
So I think street smart plus education. It cannot verse. And either one cannot do without
Ouch.
each other. But you can't be over compensated onto one side.
Correct.
Because you can't be overly street smart. You won't. Now here's the problem I have. And I'm going to be very frank with you. A very educated, degreed person can't even count. Now, a very street smart person doesn't have the ability to plan. Like a
There's a lack. There's
a lack.
There's
So you're
there's no
dealing-
balance.
Correct. So I found in the latter part, and in this part of my life, where I think education plus street smart is important.
How do we get that street smart?
You have to put yourself in life. Go get a job. Start by working for somebody, or start asking questions. When you're at work, when you're in situations, ask questions. Don't be quiet, because the problem why people don't ask and people can't talk is because education has taught you to look at a book.
Yes.
And it's taught you to read and listen to a lecturer. And you only listen and you don't speak.
Speak.
Street smart people speak a lot. They know how to speak.
That's what I was about to say.
and they don't
Street
know how to
smart
li-
people will always have the answer for everything,
Everything.
and they don't want to
listen
learn and
they
listen.
So
Yes.
now, if you can try and get those, dual values.
balance of
I
it.
think it comes with age. It comes
100%.
with accepting street smart people for who they are, and
Yes.
accepting educational people for who they are. Respecting educational people, people who have deserved and earned degrees,
Yes.
people who have earned education. You got to respect them,
Yes.
and you got to build them. And then
Correct.
people who want to only be street smart, you got to introduce
Education to them.
education to them. And
As to
give-
why it can make them better.
So I agree with you, Misha, that you and I are probably trying to say to South Africans right now, we are opposing the Zunaid Mortis and all the big guys who's got the opportunity, and the
Yeah.
and the De Beers guys, and all the big initiatives, Discovery. I'm saying, can you develop a school that's called Street Smart?
Yeah.
A Street Smart School. Can you develop a school that where
It's going to give you life skills.
correct, 100%, because if that can be your value system, your kids and your next generation will be an amazing generation.
Because there's also only so much life skills a parent can teach a child.
Worse if the parent got no life skills.
Well, that's
That's why the parent needs to go to church or go to systems that can help, or go. The parents need help too. And that could also be another problem. So
because I just believe that our life skills was too much. We were we were thrown into too many situations due to upbringing, due to unforeseen circumstances, and not having enough exposure to the nice things of life. Unfortunately, we had to use those life skills to get us to where we are today.
the best advice I can give a person with a education is to take a job non-relative to your education.
Learn something new.
Correct. And then, if you're smart enough, apply that knowledge to that industry.
Correct.
Really put a twist at it. And you'll find a lot of people that have worked in different companies, different jobs. If you've worked
They
in
have more skills,
They have
and
more-
they are able to deal with more and change management and anything that gets thrown
so
at
how many
them.
different type of industries have you been in, Misha?
Probably about five to six.
5 industries. And
I started out in a furniture business. Okay.
you come out of manufacturing,
Yes. Then
construction. You were in construction.
I was in
You was
construction.
in engineering.
I was in engineering.
Sorry, I'm
I
talking
also
for you. I know
and
you're
then I
right.
was also in
Sales?
computers. I was in sales.
So you were in electronics,
Yes. And then I was in
and makeup.
yes, and then the one I was in electrical, like with the building of the power stations,
Yeah,
Madupi and
construction. I
Kunsile.
said Group
Yeah.
5.
No, that was before
Oh,
Group 5. Yeah.
Project management.
Yes. So I have.
Infrastructure. You're part of
Yes.
infrastructure.
Yes. I can't even remember how many. And then also I was a PA to two people
Two
in there.
executives?
So I started out at the bottom and I worked my way up. I started out as a front line desk person, and I took my kids past the other day to show them where was my first job in Kramerville. We were passing there, and I showed them this is where my job was, this is where the taxi used to drop me, and this is where I started out. So you're right, I probably about 10 different places before I got to
Now
where
you're
I
in
got.
FMCG. You've moved into that. You are into. Do you know? Do you take it for granted?
I
Now
think
that I
you
unpacked
do.
it for you, I unpacked
you
it,
do.
and I actually made you realize when people look at you and people think, okay, how did Misha get to where she is? Oh, you know, I've been studying for the last 4 years of my life,
And I'm just gonna
and
wake up and get there.
Can I tell you what's the saddest thing I heard? I heard like the other day. Well, I'll tell you this in private. You guys can dream about it.
Yeah.
This can just be for you and I in bedroom talk. But anyway, remind me to
Yes.
remind you what I heard about education and something about something, right?
Okay.
Just remind me.
So
And
with that being said, we're going to close off this topic now.
it's a beautiful topic. Oh,
It's
I
a
love it.
wonderful topic, and
What's
we
the
can
pro out of
expound.
this? What's the pro out of it?
I think the pro out of this is that learning that exposure is not a bad thing,
Experience is not a bad thing.
and if you combine the two, you will be successful.
Failing is not a bad thing.
Failing has never been a bad thing. Failing is actually the best thing that can happen to you, because when you hit rock bottom, not once, not twice, not 3 times, when you rise up on the 4th time, you'll never make all 3 mistakes ever again.
Do you know how to fail? Try different things.
Yeah. So, with that being said, we are going to an ad break. And at this ad break, we want to talk about the big Black Friday sales that's coming with the Mrs. Big Bite Beauty, man. If you've been wanting to get your CMOS for a long time and you've been doubting yourself, Now's the time to grab it because we're going to be having a major big Black Friday blowout sale. I know how many bees are in that, but listen, get your CMOS, check out our page. We're going to be launching those specials soon. Keep your eyes glued on the page and make sure you are there when the clock strikes 00001 to get your CMOS.
Now, while we're here, we got a Black Friday special loading for you. So, Mr. BB has been on the hunt for the best-selling, unique accessories for your cars. I've brought in everything from Golf 6 to Hondas to Mark 1s to Cupras to Toyotas to Cressidas to your 86s to your different types of BMW, fins, spoilers, grills, a lot of accessories. I'm running a Black Friday special. You'll check it on my website. You can also come in store. The special actually starts from this Friday right up until the end of the month. Yeah, I'm definitely competitively priced, and I'll tell you what, we got high grade, high quality car accessories loaded up for Black Friday.
So, we're going on a holiday. What's your top 5 things you have to travel with?
You're gonna go 1-1.
No, you have your 5. I have my 5. What's the 5 things
The
you
5 things that Mr. BB
must
needs
be in your bag?
Must be in my bag
in
when
your
I
bag
travel.
when you travel.
is a cologne.
Okay.
Because I'm not going to talk about the necessities, right?
Yeah, no, we're talking
Toothbrush
about
and all those things.
the things you can't
I
travel
can't
without.
travel without cologne.
Right.
Like minimum 2,
Okay.
right? Minimum 2 colognes. At least a minimum of kicks, 2 to 3 different
Okay.
types of kicks.
Kicks. So
I
you
need-
need a variety of shoes.
I need a variety of shoes. I can't
Okay.
just go with one or
That's
2,
interesting,
right?
right?
Why are you saying that?
Because most men don't do that. They just take one pair of shoes, the one that they're leaving, that they're driving with, Baba. They're gonna wear that thing.
No,
throughout the
I
world.
have a different shoe for a different day.
Outfit.
For every single day, I have a different outfit. This is my
Okay.
holiday now, right?
Right.
We're talking about
Yeah,
vacation,
yeah,
right? And then, of course, depends on the vacation.
Right.
If it's outdoor events
Yes.
or indoor, it's definitely, I would love to take my golf clubs.
Right.
Right.
Most of the time you do. You just take like 2 clubs with you. You
Two cl-
sneak it in
I do
there.
sneak 2 clubs
Right.
into my bag. My cell phone charger is
Right.
a very critical thing.
Right.
I always fight for my cell phone charger. And I think the last thing that I like the most,
Is what?
everything gets packed so well for me. I just try to think about what do I really run for, because everything's dumped on you.
Can I tell you what's the last one? It's Enos.
Enos, oh yes. If I don't have Enos, you're right. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You know me well, man.
Yes. So
Wow.
those are your 5 things. My 5 things: my sunglasses, my makeup.
Yeah,
I cannot leave with a whole bag of makeup.
correct. And sunglasses, I agree.
Sunglasses a must. My colognes, I'm not so worried
A
about.
variety
them.
of shoes. Come on, you
The
not.
variety of
You've got
shoes.
a whole
I
bag
take
of
I
shoes.
take one full bag of shoes.
Correct.
Then I take one full bag with my hair accessories, like my hair dryer, my iron. I have to travel with that stuff.
Right.
And then one bag filled with like jewelry, accessories, earrings, rings, belts, hats. Like, to just zhuzh it up. Those are the 5 things I have to travel with.
There's something we can't mention that we have to travel.
Yeah. Yeah, that one thing.
That's actually most important. That's for
That
both
gets
of us.
put in the bag first.
But
Can
anyway-
you guess what that thing
Man,
is?
get out of here. Right. Well, enjoy, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you guys. We appreciate you.
Please don't forget to hit the
And
subscribe.
make sure that you go and study, man.
Yes.
Go and make something of yourself.
And
become
listen.
something and trust in yourself.
Yes,
And fail to succeed. It's okay.
100%.
And one more thing, I desperately want to say this. Make sure that you evolve with the current time. Please don't go backwards. Don't go and educate yourself with historical things and archaic things that really can't add value now to
Yeah,
yourself.
that's
Do stuff
true.
that's relevant. Do
100%.
stuff that's relevant that can help you in the current situation that you are in and in the next 30 years to come.
Adios.